I'm a huge fan of the news program Vice on HBO and also their website. And now they have an entire network dedicated to their counterculture news program called Viceland. One of the shows premiering this week is called Gaycation, starring Ellen Page. Ellen travels around to different countries to see how the LGBT community is treated in their societies. Her first stop, Japan.
We are looking at queer culture in Japan. And while there seems to be no ingrained religious obstacle to it, living as an openly gay person is very much frowned upon.
So I wonder just how many people remain permanently in the closet here.
And joining me now is Ellen Page and her best friend Ian, who also travels around the world with her. Welcome, guys, and greetings from Las Vegas.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
So, Ellen, Gaycation is basically you traveling to different countries to see how the LGBT community is treated.
Yeah, essentially, it's about us going around the world and exploring the community and the culture in a specific country. So we went to Japan, Brazil, Jamaica, and the United States. Yeah.
So in Tokyo, it's interesting to find out that even though the gay community is not talked about or accepted openly, they have a gay district of like hundreds of clubs, and you guys did like a pub crawl, and each one of these clubs and each one of these pubs had their own fetish, had their dedication to their own specific fetish. That was amazing.
Totally, yeah. I mean, there's an area in Japan, in Tokyo, called Nichome. It has over like 300 bars for the LGBT experience, and we went to the smallest gay bar in the country, and it's just like a little room with one man.
In the world, I think.
In the world? Oh,
yeah.
in the world, yeah. And it's a tiny room, and the man had been there over 35 years, so it could really speak to the history of the area. And you know, and then there's a kind of a disco, and then a cross-dressing bar, and there's a lot of safe places for people to experiment with their gender expression. And so it just felt like I think they're like, the times are changing here. It's maybe not as like underground or as interesting, but to us it was truly interesting because there's just so much to explore there in a 2-block radius, really. Mm-hmm. So it's a super special place.
So in Japanese society, being openly gay is shunned upon, but it's a cultural thing, not a religious obstacle. So how is Japan dealing with this? How do they overcome these obstacles?
It is. I will say, when we were interviewing most like young people, there really seemed to be kind of virtually, it seemed as if there was no, issue with it. I don't want to make too big of statements because we're only there for 2 weeks and, we're not talking to everybody, of course, but I feel like you do feel this energy where you're like, oh, wow, I bet in 10 years it's going to be just so different because you don't have those sort of major obstacles. So I'm excited to see the progress that's going to happen in Japan for LGBT people.
人と違うんだなっていう目で見られているので、なかなか踏み出せなかったんですが、思って、インターネットで調べていったら、こういう、友情結婚という言葉があるということを知って、希望を見出して活動を始めました。
I'll tell you guys, one of the most heart-wrenching moments in the entire show was when a gay youth was coming out to his mother, and he had no friends to support him, so he had to actually rent a friend. That's a legitimate business in Japan where you can rent people to go to different societal functions, a wedding, a funeral. Here this kid hired somebody to come sit with him to come out to his mother. And he also asked both of you to stay there with him for support, total strangers. That was just an amazing sequence. I was choking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to speak to that, that was one of the most special moments I think we had together, and definitely one of the most intense because you're essentially in a small room, and we don't know how the mother's going to respond. You feel like, oh, we're putting the mother, we don't want to put her on the spot. We want to be gracious and giving and be there for support. And I think the young man really expressed that having us there really helped him feel confident. To hear Ellen's story made him extremely secure to express that to his mother, and how special it was to be in that moment where the full range of emotions and just happened in like a 30-minute period. And so I think you'll see in the episode we have utter respect and utter love for the son and the mother and what they're going through, and we just felt like if we could even give 1 ounce of support, that it was important to us to do that. Yeah.
Now, in Japan, same-sex marriage is illegal, but a few temples and a few priests will perform the ceremonies. and you guys got married. Totally symbolic, but Ellen, you gave such great wedding vows, and it was so sweet. I mean, I was tearing up. I really was.
I did, yeah. I don't think we knew that was coming, but you know, I love Ian so much, like with just every part of me. You know, it's someone. It absolutely is true love, and it's nice because we're not always sharing that with each other. You know, you might write it in a card on a birthday or something, but how special to have an opportunity to be like, hey, I love you so much. I do not know who I would be without you, and I think it's important to share that. You know, and I depend on my friends so much in my life, and it is so valuable to me, my friendships, and what a special thing to get to share with someone that you love. You know?
And I think also you'll find that I was a little more awkward in that moment because I'm just so not used to sharing how I feel about someone face to face. So you're really vulnerable. She nails it, which put a little pressure on me, but it was like, you know, that it was so amazing to start the trip out that way of saying, you know what, I love you and we're going on this journey, and I couldn't be more grateful and excited about it. So
let's talk about Viceland, the brand new network with all this counterculture programming. It's just incredible content. And I was surprised to find out that Spike Jonze is the president of the network along with Shane Smith.
Absolutely. So Spike's a dear friend of mine. We've been friends for, you know, years, and that's sort of how this all came about. He essentially just said, "Oh, we're launching a network. Do you have any ideas?" And I think the next day I was like, I do have an idea, you know? And I think what's amazing about Vice and Spike specifically is he really makes you feel excited and like your idea is possible. Doesn't make you feel afraid of an idea. Really gives you the control. Like, I think the whole point of the network really is to give people an opportunity to share their point of view, and it's an amazing opportunity.
Ellen, congratulations on the show. Ian, you're the best friend in the world. I just want to tell you how much I enjoyed the show, and I can't wait to see your future episodes of what countries you're going to next and all the crazy programming on Viceland.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, for more reviews and interviews, just surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. Also, if you like what you see here, and I hope you do, please comment below, subscribe, thumbs up. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard from Las Vegas. I'll see you next time.